Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Butte-Silver Council of Commissioners Committee of the Whole meeting, Wednesday, February 9th. Could I have roll call, please?
We have 10 present, 1 presiding, and 1 absent.
Thank you, Colleen. Let the record show that Commissioner Mankins is excused this evening, and we could have the prayer and the pledge from Commissioner Surich.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, fellow commissioners. Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions which shall greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Sorich. At this time, I would call for any public comment on any items on the agenda, and I will just say that when we have the public hearing, we'll call on proponents and opponents at that time, so you might want to hold your question or your comments at that part of the agenda. But if there's any other public comment on tonight's agenda, seeing none. Okay. Report of the chair. I really don't have a lot to report, although I kind of enjoy this quasi-spring weather, but you know we're going to get it, so it's just a matter of time. But thank you all for coming tonight. Moving on to section 1, this is bid openings, public hearings, and/or presentations. The item that we have on our agenda tonight is a public hearing. It's resolution number 2022-07. Do we have proof of publication, County Attorney Joyce?
Madam Chair, we do have proof of publication, and it does appear to be in order.
Thank you. And this is a resolution of intent to present to the qualified electors of the City County of Butte-Silver, Montana, the question of whether to impose on a continuous basis one mill levy to be adjusted annually to raise approximately $75,000 for search and rescue operations beginning in fiscal year 2023 and providing for an effective date herein. At this time, I would ask for a staff report, and I called on Brad Belkey if you'd like to do that and give us a little update. Thank you. Brad?
Thank you. My name is Brad Belkey, and
Yeah, there you go.
My name is Brad Belkey, and I am the commander of the Search and Rescue. I've been the commander now for 29 years. During that time period, actually I've been in the group now for 42 years, and during that time I've taken part in thousands of operations, and we've been responsible for the saving of hundreds of lives during that time. During the last few years, it's become increasingly difficult to fund the organization because the equipment that we've had and gotten from grants and scrounging and military surplus and every place else we could find it has gotten old and it's dilapidated. It's starting to fail on us, and the amount of time it takes for maintenance is enormous. That's taking away from training time and search time. We're also having to do a lot of fundraising, which also takes away from training and searches. And so what we're asking to do is to have a mill levy in support of our organization to provide the money that we need to operate this group appropriately. It would allow us to update equipment. Some trucks are as old as 40 years old. I saw that the Fish and Game got a new trail groomer for snowmobiling this week for $250,000. Our snow vehicle like that is from the 1950s. And it's slow. It's about 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour on a good day, and is a constant battle to keep operating. But it's a formidable vehicle. There's so many things we need to be able to do, especially for training and such, and so many things that we used to be able to do that we can't do the way the budget is now, including at one time 17 of the members were trained as first responders, and 9 of the members were trained as EMTs or paramedics. We don't have that anymore. We have like 2 EMTs left because we just can't afford the training. We can't send them to the schools, and we can't do these things. And the mill levy would allow us to meet all of these needs. So we're asking for your support in all this, and we thank you for having this public hearing for us tonight.
Thank you, Brad. Any questions for Mr. Belkey? Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you very much, Chairman Shaw. Thank you, Mr. Belkey, for being here tonight. I know that you guys do a wonderful job. I know a few people in your organization. My one niece has been helping out a little bit, Cordelia Anderson, with the funky purple hair and everything. But if someone could talk some sense into her on her hair, I'd appreciate it. But I know that you guys go to a lot of different counties and the surrounding communities, Madison, Deer Lodge, Anaconda, et cetera. Are you going to those communities and asking for funding also in the same manner?
I don't believe, Commissioner, that that's allowed under the state law.
Okay.
And we are specifically supposed to be limited to our county, but
Okay.
there's a mutual aid thing, like there is with law enforcement, so we do sometimes travel to assist them. And the fact of the matter is, when you get into the backcountry and you cross over, for example, on a snowmobile search for, or excuse me, on a search for a downed hang glider past the cow camp by Red Mountain, you know, you cross into Beaverhead County, and we're there, and we're not going to go. I mean, we're not going to not go, you know? And the fact of the matter is, we feel an obligation, so if it's a Butte person, we're going to go, probably.
Oh.
And we've traveled as far as Discovery, you know, to the west, and Cardwell to the east, and, you know, we just, if it's a Butte person, we usually go. We'll call the other sheriff's department, or we'll have our sheriff's department call and say, hey, we'd like to come, can we have your permission? But no, I don't believe under the way the statute is that we'd be allowed to ask for a mill levy there.
Okay. I wasn't sure of that, so that's ignorance on my behalf, but I really hope that the voters approve this. I'm sure that the council will get it on the ballot, and I hope that the voters of the community do their part to support the organization and all the work that you do. I just hope that the funds that you get will be enough to benefit and to do all the work that you need them to do and to stretch them as far as they need to go. And I know that with your management, that with what you've had over the years, that this will be a blessing and you'll be a good steward of the money. So thank you very much, and thank all of you for all your work. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Any other questions from council members? It doesn't look that way. Okay, thank you, Brad. At this time, I will open the public hearing. Anyone that would like to speak, please come to the microphone and give us your name and address for the record, and we will start with proponents. Anyone like to speak on behalf of this resolution? Captain Conway.
Madam Chair, council members, my name's Doug Conway. I'm a captain with the Law Enforcement Department, and I would like to speak as a proponent. For over 20 years, I've been the liaison officer between the Law Enforcement Department and the Search and Rescue. And during that time, I've been able to watch and participate in numerous activities with these folks. We consider them to be a very valuable asset to the law enforcement department. There's a lot of things that they do that our guys just aren't trained or equipped to do. Some of the things that we've used them for, other than search and rescue for lost persons or persons who get stuck in snow, mud, whatever, is they've also assisted us greatly on aircraft crashes, and there was a few times that we used them to help us look for evidence in certain cases that were just located out in the woods. A couple of times we used them when we were on a tactical situation. We used them to be the outer perimeter, so it would free up our officers to be an inner perimeter. Every time we've called, they've all shown up that are available. They work very well with us, and I think, you know, they're a very valuable asset to the community. So I'll keep it brief, but definitely a proponent, and I spoke with Sheriff Lester earlier today. He couldn't be here tonight, but he wanted me to express that he is also a proponent. So thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else like to speak as a proponent for this proposed resolution? Third call for proponents. Could you give us your name and address for the record? And what you got there?
My name is Ed Baker. I've been with the group for 16 years, and I just want to talk to just a minute or so about first aid kits. This is my own personal first aid kit. I got it off online. This particular kit is well equipped with everything that we would need in a search. This kit right here costs $1,250. So as we all know, that medical equipment and medical supplies is very high. And on the outlook of everything, that, with the search and rescue, we'd probably need about 4 of these, because when we do go out on a search, we all don't go to the one place. We go to different areas, triangulate, so that we can get to the person that is in need of help faster. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Third call, final call for proponents.
Brian Lamblum, 231 Meadowview Drive. I'm a proponent for this. The one thing I'd like to touch on is our need for like smaller pieces of equipment. We could get, with this money, we could get better flashlights. We could get technology to help us, like infrared technology to see at night. We were out on a search looking for a woman last year. The only reason why we found her is because her dogs had alerted us to her. We didn't, we would not have been able to see her by the tree. With this money, we can look at some technology to have handheld FLIR and other things like that. With this money, you could also look at better technology for communication. Sometimes, our radios are great, but sometimes they just don't work because we're on the other side of the mountain. So there's various things we can look at to help solve that, either by using some satellite technology, some, remote, deployable repeaters and stuff like that. So we don't have the set plans for any of that now, but with this money, we'd be able to put together plans to see how we could best serve our team and being able to go out and perform these searches with these different pieces of equipment. So thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Tom Goyette, 1726 Wilson Avenue here in Butte. I've been in search and rescue since 1998. I spent 20 years as a registered nurse, and one thing I've noticed in all the time that I've been in search and rescue is the lack of ability to send our members out to out-of-town in-service training to advance their skills. A lot of these bits of technology are great, but you have to know how to use them. Most of our members are working people who have to take off time for work, but if they need to go to an out-of-town 2-day workshop, they not only need to take 3 days off, half a day to get there, half a day back, but they also have to pay for room and board while they're there. That's something we haven't been able to provide, and that is very, very important to upgrading skills and keeping skills current, where we can send a couple members to a workshop, they can come back and teach the others. So that's something else that these funds would be very helpful for. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Final call for any proponents. Brett?
Brad Belkey, 444 East Park, speaking as a proponent. We had an interesting phenomenon at the meeting Tuesday night last week, and I'd ask every one of the guys who's here tonight who's assisted someone medically or a vehicle problem in the last 3 months to raise their hand. Yeah, I found that out last week. You got 30 people running around town here who are trained as CPR and other things and who spend $1,200 to have a first aid kit in their car, and they provide these services constantly to this community, and I think that's an invaluable thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Any other proponents?
Hello, my name's Frank Crosby, and I live here in Butte at 3031 Grayson Street. I've been with Search and Rescue for many years, and it's a great organization. we've been on a lot of plane wrecks, and we did the FedEx plane, and we had a few members that are in our group that were recognized from the National Federal FAA Association for the quality of the work and the professionalism that we did. And it's all, most of that was self-taught. And I am so proud of this group, and there's not a member in this place I won't go to fight to the end for these people. They devote their lives, and I got to commend them for it. And I thank you guys too for taking your time to sit down and listen to us. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Any other proponents? Last final call for proponents. Now I would ask for any opponents to this proposal. And I believe we have a letter to be read into the record. I'll ask Colleen if she would please assist us here.
This letter is from Kevin Johnson of 2715 Bayard Street. And he's an opponent regarding the resolution 2022-07. He says, "Dear sirs, no, no, no. This is a bad idea. Number one, there is nothing about some fool getting in a bad spot and in a bad way that makes it our fault. While it is nice to be able to help someone out, it is not anyone else's responsibility to do so. Where is their own responsibility and personal accountability? Why doesn't I-90 work with some insurance providers to develop a coverage package for outdoor enthusiasts? Number two, if BSB does this, you're going to set this county up for being sued. In any case that I-90 does not get some fool rescued, Mommy and Daddy are going to accuse somebody and everybody that failed to get him out alive. It won't matter the what, where, when, why details. They will seek legal recourse for a wrongful death or any harm they might perceive as being done. BSB will be on that list of defendants. How's the county's insurance for this? Number three, have you looked recently at the line items on our property taxes? There are a lot of items. If you add in this, it will be just the foot in the door. This seed money asked for here will be just the beginning, and you will have no definition of what is the end of it all. Don't do it. Kevin Johnson.
Thank you, Colleen. Any other opponents to the project and to this resolution? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. That's it? You bet. Thank you all for coming tonight. I will mention to the my fellow council members that we will be, we had to have the public hearing before we could move ahead with the resolution, and of course on a committee of the whole we can't make any action. So next week I will pull this out, I'll suspend it from the you know what I mean. I will segregate it, thank you, and I could call on our chair, judiciary chair to do that. We'll segregate that item and we will pass it. Well, we will vote for or against it, exactly. It will go forward. All right, did you get all that? Just so you know that we're not forgetting about this, and that next week it will be opened up for a motion. Okay, so moving on to section 1, communications. Item 1 is communication 2021-299. Tristan Thomas, residing in Butte, Montana, requesting Council of Commissioners to authorize Tristan Thomas to purchase the following property located at 2422 Pine Street, Butte, Montana. We will hold this in advance. I talked to Patsy in our land sales department, and they haven't had a meeting this month, but we're still awaiting on these surveys, so it wouldn't have mattered if they hadn't had a meeting, but this will continue to be held in advance for that survey. Item 2 is communication 2021-335, Michael and Kellyanne Hoven, 241 Williams Street, Walkerville, Montana, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to purchase vacant land currently owned by BSB. The land we are hoping to acquire includes a 1.06 acre parcel and a segment of another 10-acre tract. They are also awaiting a survey. We will hold that in advance. Item 3, communication number 2022-02, Melissa Odell, 21 Holly Lane, Butte, Montana, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to purchase a small lot that BSB currently owns. The land owned by BSB is located at 322 West Gold, parcel number 441800, where I would like to build a small garage. We will hold that in abeyance. It is on, actually it's being held at the Land Sales Committee for some information. We will wait for their reply. Item 4 is communication number 2022-54. Karen Malachny, Butte-Silver Health Officer, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to schedule a public hearing for February 16th, 2022, for the purpose of amending the fiscal year 2021-22 budget to allow for increased expenditures of unanticipated revenue to hire an STD disease intervention specialist and provide communicable disease investigation and intervention services. We will hold that in abeyance pending the public hearing next week. Item 5, communication number 2022-56, Dory Scrookrud, Greenway Service District Project Manager, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening on February 16th, 2022 for the Silverbow Creek Greenway, Reach O Trail, and Cattle Bridge. We will hold that in abeyance pending the bid opening next week. Item 6 is 2022-58. Eileen Joyce, Butte-Silver County Attorney, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for the Chief Executive Gallagher to sign a grant award for the Residential Substance Abuse Treatment Program, RSAT, in our local detention facility, and to schedule a public hearing for February 16th, 2022 regarding this unanticipated revenue. We will hold that in advance in preparation for the February 16th public hearing. And item 7 is communication number 2022-61. Danette Gleason, Finance and Budget Director, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on February 23rd, 2022, to present the fiscal year 2021 audit findings and annual financial report. We will hold that in abeyance until the 23rd of February. So at this time, I would call for any public comment on any matter that's not on the agenda tonight. I don't see anybody out there looking anxious to get before the microphone. Anything else to come before us this evening? All right, well, at this point, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everyone.